I'm Carly. I'm Carly Hansen, and I'm about to do my speech on texting and driving. And here's my lovely audience. Okay. Alexander Height was a 22-year-old college student whose life was cut short due to those who text and drive. His text was unfinished as he was driving, and he drifted into oncoming traffic and quickly jerked the wheel and went over the other side of the road, rolling his car. Alexander died shortly after the crash, and he had a perfect driving record and wasn't even speeding when he crashed, but it could have been prevented if he would not have texted and driven. In 2011, at least 23% of auto collisions involve cell phones. That's 1.3 million crashes. Since cell phones came about, the laws have gotten more strict on texting and driving. Many crashes have been a result of this distraction, and lives have been lost. Law enforcement's been keeping an eye out for those individuals who are texting and driving, and they will pull you over. I have learned my lesson as I too have been pulled over for texting and driving. Because texting and driving is dangerous and often leads to an increased amount of vehicle accidents, it is important to be educated in how this affects the driver and others on the road, as well as what consequences can occur. Accidents happen not only by texting, but from also talking on the phone, reading a text message, surfing the web, not to mention looking for your phone takes your eyes off the road, and you haven't even begun to start your text message yet. As I stated earlier, in 2011, 23% of accidents were texting related. Just under a quarter of all accidents were related to cell phone use, and this number is very high and completely able to be lowered because of people's choices. 13% of drivers are ages 18 to 20, and they admitted that they were texting and driving and talking on the phone at the same time of their crash. 82% of drivers own cell phones, and 77% of those think that they can safely text and operate a cell phone while driving. These drivers don't realize that the risk that they are putting themselves in, let alone other drivers on the road, which brings me to talk about cell phone use and how it affects your driving. Texting and driving makes it 23 times more likely to be involved in a vehicular accident. This is because this activity takes your eyes off the road for the longest amount of time as any other activity. 5 seconds with your eyes off the road seems like a short amount of time, but if you're going 55 miles an hour, that's a whole football field that you're looking without watching the road. Texting and driving puts others at risk because of your distraction. You could not see that someone's braking in front of you, switching lanes, pedestrians, or you could travel into the other lane. It has also been even compared to driving under the influence. It is equivalent to driving after consuming just 4 beers, well, not just 4 beers, but actually 4 beers, and is even 6 times more likely to cause an accident than driving intoxicated. Seeing that comparing texting and driving is comparable to driving under the influence, there's no wonder that law enforcement is trying to crack down on this habit, which has us moving on to see what law has done for this problem. States have started banning cell phone use in cars, and especially North Dakota, if you're seen texting while driving, you'll be pulled over and given an automatic $100 fine. And that's exactly what I got. Learned my lesson. Don't do it anymore. And also jail time. A man in Utah is spending up to 5 years in prison because he killed a teenager while he was driving and texting. The boy was wearing a neon yellow sweatshirt and walking on the shoulder of the road, and the man didn't even see him when he hit him. And now he's spending 5 years of his life in prison and cut the 15-year-old's life short. Many people and organizations promote signing a pledge online to promise that they will not text and drive ever again, and you can sign your own pledge at stoptextstoprex.com. And in this speech, we've talked about how common accidents are while involving cell phones, and cell phone uses negatively impacts our driving abilities and what the law has been doing to prevent this habit from continuing. I hope that after hearing this presentation, we'll remember and think of those hurt by texting and driving, and we will abide by the laws and take the pledge to not text and drive. Thank you, everybody, for listening, and there we go.